Alright guys, so I play in this pod for EDH, and I love Commander, but I pretty much only own old school cards. I did play Commander for a while. I had a competitive deck. Be honest with you, I got really tired of winning on turn 0 to 5. To me, it didn't really feel like playing old school Magic like when I was a kid. So I got rid of all those cards a long time ago, and I play EDH. Now, I do have one deck of new cards, but that's Fallout. That's not what I'm doing today. That's more of a fun deck, because I just love Fallout. But I'm going to go over a deck that I'm playing in regular Commander. It goes by the normal Commander rules. I just put a restriction on myself to have a little more fun. I set everything from Ice Age and back. Because if you grew up playing Magic in the beginning, you probably started between those gaps. And that's where all the fun was before things got a little crazy, like Force of Wills and Arcane Denials and stuff like that. So that being said, I'm going to mess around. I'm going to show you my commander here, Rubinia. And she is awesome. So if you don't know what she does, you probably should. But I may choose not to untap her during my untap phase. All I have to do is tap her and gain control of any creature on the battlefield. If I lose control of her, then they get their creature back. There's plenty of ways for me to interact. So that's the commander. If you know anything about old school cards, like I said, everything is Ice Age and back. Okay? So I'm going to put her right up here. And I'm just going to do the lands real fast, because there's not much really crazy there. Don't mind, there are some proxies in here, because I have a bunch of regular old school decks and tournaments and stuff. And some of these I just don't, when I play Commander, I don't feel like bringing my super expensive cards. So the typical Tundra, Tropical, Savannah, again Proxy, City Brass, because I only have 4 and they're all in, or I have 5 and they're all in other decks. So those are the basic, non-basic mana producers. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 planes. Some of those were just drawn on by my daughter. I let her draw on my basics and have fun and show me some love there. And it's islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 islands. Looks like we ended with the one she wanted to make for Harry Potter. So that was pretty cool. Now we have forests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 forests. Those are just the basics to get me through, and all the colors, I really do not seem to have an issue. This deck actually works extremely well. You can ask anybody from White Dragon or any of the other ones I play with sometimes. This deck will go hand in hand with just about any of the regular EDH decks out there. So this is in no order, but I'm just going to go kind of slow here. Obviously, got to play a Wrath of God. Got to play a Preacher. If you don't know what Preacher is, it's another creature like Rubinia. Basically, I tap it to gain control of a creature. Opponent gets to choose which creature I take. Well, when people play their commanders quick, I usually pop this guy out, and then I usually gain control of their commander. So, yes, I usually play creatures that I can't. So 9 times out of 10 I will win a game by taking people's commanders and killing them with them. We have Nowhere Else, and we have a Cry Shield, which is kind of fun. So when people try and do damage, one of the biggest things is Rubinia. They're trying to burn her out. Well, all I have to do is, this guy's 2 artifact, 2 mana to activate. Okay, well, what it does is it takes +0 + X onto this creature, where X is a casting cost. She's already 3, right? So her casting cost is 5. Now it's a 2/8. Now that also goes hand in hand with a few other things that I will show you as I go. So I'll keep that down. Here's a Foul Warstone. Not a lot of counter spells in old school. Flash counter, which, believe it or not, is actually extremely powerful in this format, because when you play in a pot of 4, everybody has some kind of instance going off, and I love flash countering them. Old Man of the Sea. Well, guess what he is? He's tapped to control something with his power or less. He's a 2/3. Yes, he will tap, and he will take control of other things. So if you kind of see where this is going here, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of little quirky interactions and stuff with it. So here's another fun card. Basically, it's just I get to look at the top 3 cards, decide if I want to do anything with them or not. I can put back in any order. I can draw a card at my next upkeep. So basically, it's just a filter card. It lets me filter through things and just kind of get through stuff. Spell Blast, nothing crazy, just a basic counter spell. The Force Field, I like Force Field because I only lose 1 life to an unblocked creature. So yeah, basically it helps protect me. I don't care how big your commander is, it's not going to do anything to me. And usually that makes people attack someone other than me. Here's another way of copying some of the creatures on the board, or some of my, I'm going to take control of your creature stuff. Since I can't play multiple creatures or an Old Man of the Sea or anything like that, well, this is anything I feel like, which is called Doppelganger. So I get to switch it and change it and do whatever I want. So she ends up being usually part of that group. Copy Artifact. You guys all know what Copy Artifact is. Here's a card most people don't know. Rubinia Soulsinger, if I control no islands. Well, that's not a problem. Tap. Gain control of target creature if its controller has at least 1 island. Well, anybody who plays blue, I'm pretty much taking your commander and doing whatever I want with it. Again, you see how this is going. Okay, here's another control aspect. All creatures lose flying and island walk. That's important. Remember that thing. Mana Drain, we all know what Mana Drain is. Safe Haven. What happens to your commander if I use Safe Haven? You guys know what Safe Haven is? Okay, well, 2 and tap. Remove target creature you control from the game. Play this ability as an interrupt. Yes, it doesn't actually remove the commander from the game. But if you want to, on the end step of the guy before you, if it's his end step, you can use any one of these guys that take control of someone's commander or whatever you want to do, also on their end step. Oh, look, I just put it under Safe Haven. Well, it can't do that, so they end up putting it back in their command zone, and basically they never get to play our commanders. So, kind of see where this is going there. I'm going to put that over with this guy, because that's more of a protection type and a filter type. I'm just going to throw you a spell, so I'm going to put him right here. Arborea. If you don't know what Arborea is, basically if I don't play spells on my turn, you cannot attack me. That is a global effect. That works for all players. We all know what Ivory Tower is. Vision is a filter card. Basically lets me look at the top 5 cards and decide kind of if I want to shuffle or not. So it's basically just a free filter, 1 drop. Easy to see if I have dead cards coming up or what I want to do. Life Chisel. Sure you know what that is. That is a very easy way to sacrifice people's creatures I control. Now you see where this is going? And I gain life equal to the toughness. Remember Crash Shield? Yeah, I can take your commander and all your big beefy creatures and sacrifice them to Life Chisel and gain a crap ton of life. Meekstone. Nothing greater than 2 may untap. Well, all my control guys are going to tap, but all your stuff isn't. Icy Manipulator. Another one of those control children. Pit Trap. It's for 2 mana. It's from Ice Age. 2 and tap. Bury target creature without flying that's attacking you. That is a huge problem child when it's on the board, because people's commanders that are not flying, or they're big creatures or anything like that, they're, you know, giant dinosaurs. Nobody's going to come near you with a big scary dinosaur if it doesn't have protection. So again, that's another way of protecting things. Angus Mackenzie. Creatures attack and block as normal, but deal no... got sidetracked. Creatures attack and block as normal, but none deal any damage during combat. All attacking creatures are still tapped. Use this ability anytime before attacking is dealt. It is a 2/2 for 3 mana, and for the 3 color mana you see up there, well, that's basically a living fog. So, yeah, he's a little important. Living Wall is a nightmare for a lot of people. People don't realize it, but it's 4 mana for 0/6 wall, and it is 1 generic to regenerate. Yeah, 1 generic. So it ends up being a problem child for most people, and they don't like attacking me. Soul Ring. I'm going to keep these guys off to the side for a second. Here's Giant Oyster. You want to cause a problem? You may choose not to untap Giant Oyster during your untap phase. Target creature does not untap during its controller's untap phase as long as Giant Oyster remains tapped. Get the concept there? During your upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on that creature. If Giant Oyster becomes untapped or leaves play, remove all these counters from the creature. Basically, I suck your guy, commander, whoever, all the way down to the bottom of the ocean and suck him inside this oyster and protect my oyster. Another one of those control aspects. Power Sink, Birds of Paradise, Coffin. Yeah, awesome card. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because it doesn't actually match all this stuff anymore, but I will tell you it's 4 generic mana to cast. For 3 mana, you actually tap him regardless of what it tells you. And you take a target creature in play, and it's considered out of play. Yeah, commanders. Or something attacking you big and scary. You can leave it under the coffin. You can choose not to untap coffin and leave it there forever until they destroy that coffin. Or if you really want to be an asshole, you can Divine Offering your own coffin, and it is permanently removed from the game if you time it properly. So yeah, I basically use it to take people's commanders and make them vanish. Clone, another way of getting these guys. It's just another elf for wrap. This is a control spell for 4 mana. This is from Ice Age. It's just another control. During my upkeep, pay 1 generic in blue or bury this. Gain control of target creature. It gets +0/+1. Another way of taking people's commanders. Maze of Ith. We all know what that is. Brainstorm. Nothing fancy. Land tax. Counterspell. Untamed Wilds is just an old school way of digging for a basic land. Here's Regeneration to make sure that my commander has to have that removed from game effect, or I can protect something I really care about. That's just a test card for me at the moment, but it seems to be working out pretty good. Remove Soul, creature counter. Love doing that on commanders. Sword to Plowshare. Rocket Launcher. Here's another guy that's going to go with this little fun pile over here. Crumble. You know what Crumble is. If not, bury target artifact. They gain life. I don't really care if you gain life in the beginning. This is all enchantments on target creature are destroyed. Target creature cannot be further targeted by instances, sorcery, or enchantments. It's basically as close to an old school Boots or Greaves as possible, so it helps me protect my stuff. This is my proxy for Rasputin Dreamweaver. If you don't know what that is, it's 6 mana. Sounds like a lot, but you kind of get to it pretty quick. Put 7 counters on Rasputin when brought into play. You may remove these counters to prevent 1 damage to Rasputin or add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. This ability is played as an interrupt. Put 1 counter on Rasputin during your upkeep if he started the turn untapped. You may not have more than 7 of these counters on Rasputin at any time. Okay, so he is actually very dangerous and very underestimated. And he is a giant mana burst. If you need a lot of mana, you can just sit this guy sitting there untapped, and he is a major mana source for you. And he gains counters every turn. So he just basically sits there when he comes into play. You tap 6, you gain 7 colorless. Yeah. It's 6 to cast, 7 colorless. And you get a new colorless every single turn. So, yeah, basically free mana. Here's Library of Lang, so I don't lose anything crazy. Here's Moat. Non-flying creatures cannot attack. Here is Regrowth. You all know what Regrowth is. Gem Day Tome, just another draw engine. Here's one of my favorite cards, Amnesia. Look at target player's hand. Target player discards all non-land cards in their hand. Yep, that's basically game ending for some of these guys that don't like to discard cards. It's, well, there goes your entire hand, and there's not much you can do about it. Disenchant, Dust to Dust, Divine Offering. Here's one. Remember I take control of everyone's creatures all the time? Yeah, I'm going to sacrifice a creature to look through my library for a creature card. Put that card into my hand. After showing it to all players, reshuffle your library afterwards. So for 2 mana, I sack your commander that I took and get any creature I want, which is going to be another one of those creatures that I need, whether it's, you know, Rasputin or whoever. It allows me to go search for a creature. Here's another artifact killer, Scavenger Folk, nothing crazy. Control magic, guess what I'm doing with that. You're going to go over there. Rain Geyser, giant mana card draw. Here's him the Rebirth. Take target creature from any graveyard and put it directly into play under your control as though it just summoned. Yep, that's a pretty cool card right there. Mr. Grimora, I know you all know the fish. Yep, fish is awesome. I love it. Recall, get rid of any dead problematic cards. Time Elemental, I have fun with that. That helps protect my stuff. Okay, here's one of the killing ways. Usually when I get this out, people don't last very long. During each player's upkeep, Primal Order does 1 damage to target player for each non-basic land he or she controls. Yes, for 2 green and 2 colorless, during each player's upkeep, they get 1 damage for every single non-basic they control. How many people have a lot of basics in their deck? Not as many as you quite think, so that ends up ending games extremely fast. Now we're going to play with a little bit of fun that we're going to have. Remember this Cry Shield and Life Chisel I was talking about? Yeah, well, there's Diamond Valley. I also gain life based on casting cost, which is toughness, I mean. So Cry Shield adds to the toughness. So if it costs 6 mana to cast it, it adds 6 to the toughness. So I take your creature on the end step of the guy before me, or after, right before me. I sack it to Diamond Valley, and I gain a ridiculous amount of life, and your commander goes back to the command zone again. So there's a couple little quirky combos in here. You notice I don't play red. So this is white, blue, and green. You might think, ooh, how am I supposed to kill people? Other than just, you know, take their own, which, believe it or not, this is way more than enough to kill people on a normal basis. But once in a while, I need a backup plan. So there's Transmute Artifact. I can transmute an artifact, whether it's an artifact creature I just stole from somebody else, and I want to sack it to get something free from my library. Cool. Assault Monolith is a cool card, and so is Power Artifact. That's infinite mana, right? You think, oh, what am I going to do? Well, maybe I'll Brain Geyser for my entire deck. Maybe I'll just Rocket Launch everyone to death. What's Rocket Launcher? A lot of people tell me that all the time. And then they die from it. So for 4 mana, it just sits out as an artifact. For 2 mana, and that's infinite times you can cast 2 mana, or use 2 mana into it, do 1 damage to any target. Rocket Launcher may not be used until it begins a turn in play on your side. If it is used, Rocket Launcher is destroyed at end of turn. End of turn. Keep that in mind. So if I do happen to have infinite mana out, I can continuously just pump mana into Rocket Launcher and basically let a Nuka World Nuka Bomb off and wipe my entire playgroup completely out of the game. That's also fun too. And remember, most of the time I'm transmuting someone else's artifact creature or something, and I have plenty of artifacts I can get rid of in here too. But yes, you gotta know this endless combo right here. But when you don't have red, people think they're not going to die from it. But when I draw my whole deck and kill you, or I play a rocket launcher, or there's a couple other different ways to do it, but you'll kind of get the concept. And that's kind of how I'm doing things in here. This is a lot of fun. It is extremely successful. I can stay toe-to-toe with just about any of the guys up there, because when they're playing a lot of commanders out there. You know, Captain America is a really good one. Well, chances are I'm going to get this guy out pretty quick. I'm going to end up sending your commander back. You're going to summon your commander, and he has summoning sickness. A lot of those guys will. The Trons, the Voltrons, whatever you want to call them. There's a million different ways out there, but I will take your commanders. I won a game once by taking my buddy's 2 commanders. I felt bad for him. He didn't get to play Magic that night. But basically, I took both his Lord of the Rings commanders, and I had, I don't know, somewhere like 300 something life. That was 1-win condition. But otherwise, I end up taking people's commanders and gaining the benefit that I don't have. So that's why I have all of those control cards in here. So I don't have to play all those crazy creatures. I let other people play them for me. I take all your crazy creatures and then I kill you with them. So this is my deck that nobody likes, but it is a lot of fun. I just wanted to do something for Commander because I love Commander and I want to give you guys some love. So if you guys do see this, I think this is a pretty cool concept. Some of the other guys actually jumped on board and started making Ice Age and back. Obviously it's the same limitations as regular Commander does, but it is a lot of fun to do something like that. There's a lot of commanders from Ice Age and back, and you can have a lot of fun with them. And there's a bunch of different ones that do kind of what she's doing, but she's just one of those old-time cards that I just happen to always love. So I figured I would just try and make the best deck I can and go from there. But I hope you enjoyed that. That's for all you Commander guys out there. And all you old school guys, I'm sure you're going to love looking at that pile because that's a lot of love from all the years. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night.